If you feel constantly distracted, mentally tired, and unable to focus in 2026, this is not an accident. Your brain is not broken, you're not lazy, and you do not lack discipline. What you are experiencing is the result of living in the most overstimulated environment in human history. Every single day, your dopamine system is being hijacked by algorithms designed to keep you scrolling, clicking, and consuming. The platforms you use, the content you watch, the notifications that interrupt your thoughts, all of these are engineered to exploit the exact neurochemical pathways that govern your motivation, your focus, and your ability to delay gratification. In 2026, we are living through a crisis of attention that is unlike anything humanity has ever faced before. We have more content than ever, more artificial intelligence generating personalized feeds than ever, and more ways to escape boredom than at any point in history. But here is the problem. Your brain has not evolved to handle this level of constant stimulation. The same dopamine system that once helped your ancestors survive by rewarding them for finding food, building shelter, and forming social bonds is now being weaponized against you by technology companies that profit from your inability to look away. This is why you open your phone without thinking, why you cannot sit alone with your thoughts for more than 30 seconds, why you feel an overwhelming sense of emptiness even when you're surrounded by endless entertainment. You're not weak. You are not undisciplined. You are simply living in a world that has outsmarted your biology. And if you do not take action now, this problem will only get worse. In this video, I am going to show you exactly how to do a dopamine detox in 2026 realistically, without quitting society, without becoming a monk, and without relying on willpower that inevitably runs out. If you want discipline and focus to become automatic, not forced, check the link in the description. It is a subconscious training system I personally recommend. Now let me explain why dopamine detox is more necessary in 2026 than it has ever been before. Act 1. Why dopamine detox is crucial in 2026. The world has fundamentally changed in the last few years, and most people have not adapted to this change. We are now living in an era where short-form content dominates everything. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, these platforms have completely rewired how we consume information. The average piece of content you watch is now less than 60 seconds long, and your brain has started to expect that same level of instant gratification from everything else in your life. This means that reading a book, working on a difficult project, or sitting through a conversation without checking your phone has become almost unbearable for most people. But it is not just short-form content. Notifications have become more aggressive, more personalized, and more frequent. Every app on your phone is competing for your attention, and they're using sophisticated artificial intelligence to figure out exactly what will make you come back. The algorithms know when you are most vulnerable, they know what kind of content triggers your emotions, and they know how to keep you engaged for as long as possible. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is simply how modern technology works. And then there is artificial intelligence itself. In 2026, we have AI-generated content flooding every platform. We have ChatGPT writing articles. We have AI creating videos. We have deepfakes and synthetic media that are indistinguishable from reality. This means that the sheer volume of content available to you is exploding at an exponential rate. Your brain simply cannot process this much information. It was not designed to. The human brain evolved over hundreds of thousands of years in an environment where information was scarce. You had to work hard to find food, to learn new skills, to connect with other people. But now, in 2026, information is infinite and effort is optional. You can get dopamine hits without doing anything meaningful. You can feel productive without actually producing anything. You can feel connected without ever having a real conversation. And this is destroying your ability to focus, to build, and to become the person you want to be. The real problem in 2026 is not that you lack motivation. The problem is that your attention has been fragmented into 1,000 tiny pieces, and you have lost the ability to stay present with anything that requires sustained effort. You cannot read 5 pages of a book without reaching for your phone. You cannot work on a project for 30 minutes without switching tabs. You cannot sit in silence without feeling an overwhelming urge to do something, anything to fill the void. This is not a personality flaw. This is a symptom of dopamine dysregulation. And here is what most people do not understand. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It is the neurochemical that drives you to seek rewards, to pursue goals, to take action. But when your dopamine system is constantly being triggered by easy, instant, and meaningless stimuli, it stops responding to the things that actually matter. This is why you feel unmotivated. This is why you procrastinate. This is why you know what you need to do, but you just cannot bring yourself to do it. Your brain has been conditioned to expect instant rewards, and anything that requires patience, effort, or delayed gratification feels like punishment. This is why dopamine detox is not just important in 2026. It is essential. But before I show you how to do it correctly, you need to understand what dopamine detox actually is, because most people get this completely wrong. Act 2. What dopamine detox is not. Dopamine detox has become a buzzword, and like most buzzwords, it has been completely misunderstood. If you search for dopamine detox on YouTube or TikTok, you will find hundreds of videos telling you to lock yourself in a room for 24 hours, to avoid all technology, to sit in silence and stare at a wall. You will see people treating dopamine detox like some kind of extreme challenge, a test of willpower, a way to prove that you're disciplined and strong. But this is not what dopamine detox is about. In fact, this approach is exactly why most people fail. First of all, dopamine detox is not a punishment. It is not about depriving yourself of everything you enjoy. It is not about suffering for the sake of suffering. The goal is not to eliminate pleasure from your life. The goal is to recalibrate your brain so that you can experience pleasure from meaningful activities again. If you approach dopamine detox like a prison sentence, you're going to hate it, you're going to resist it, and you're going to give up the moment it becomes uncomfortable. Second, dopamine detox is not about eliminating dopamine. Dopamine is not the enemy. Dopamine is essential for motivation, for focus, for goal-directed behavior. Without dopamine, you would not be able to get out of bed in the morning. The problem is not dopamine itself. The problem is that your dopamine system has been hijacked by overstimulation. Your brain has become desensitized to the natural rewards of life because it has been flooded with artificial, hyperstimulating rewards that require no effort. Third, dopamine detox is not a 24-hour challenge. The idea that you can fix years of dopamine dysregulation by sitting in a dark room for one day is absurd. Dopamine detox is not a quick fix. It is not a life hack. It is a process of gradually reducing your exposure to hyperstimulating activities and retraining your brain to find satisfaction in slower, more meaningful pursuits. This takes time. This takes consistency. This takes a fundamental shift in how you structure your daily life. And this is why most versions of dopamine detox that you see online are completely useless. They focus on extreme, unsustainable actions that make for good content, but have no real impact on your long-term behavior. You might feel good for a few hours after completing a dopamine detox challenge, but within a day or two, you will be right back where you started. Why? Because you have not changed the underlying patterns that created the problem in the first place. You have not addressed the subconscious habits, the automatic responses, the deeply ingrained neural pathways that drive your behavior. This is the part that nobody talks about. Dopamine detox is not just about removing stimuli. It is about reprogramming your brain at a deeper level. It is about changing the automatic patterns that determine how you respond to boredom, how you react to stress, how you seek validation, and how you make decisions. And if you do not address these deeper patterns, you will fail. You will go back to scrolling. You will go back to procrastinating. You will go back to feeling distracted and unmotivated. And you'll convince yourself that dopamine detox does not work. But the truth is, dopamine detox does work. It just has to be done correctly. So let me show you what is actually happening in your brain when you are constantly overstimulated, and why this problem is so much worse in 2026 than it has ever been before. Act 3. how overstimulation is destroying your brain in 2026. Your brain operates on a very simple principle. It seeks pleasure and avoids pain. But in 2026, this principle has been completely exploited by modern technology. Every time you open your phone, every time you scroll through a feed, every time you watch a video, your brain receives a small hit of dopamine. This dopamine release signals to your brain that you have done something rewarding, something worth repeating. But here's the problem. This reward requires no effort. You did not have to work for it. You did not have to think. You did not have to create anything. You just had to swipe your thumb. Now imagine this happening hundreds of times per day. Every notification, every like, every comment, every new piece of content triggers a small dopamine spike. Your brain starts to associate pleasure with instant gratification. It learns that effort is unnecessary, that patience is outdated, that delayed rewards are not worth pursuing. And over time, this completely destroys your ability to focus on anything that requires sustained attention. This is why working on a difficult project feels unbearable. This is why reading a book feels boring. This is why having a deep conversation feels exhausting. Your brain is constantly comparing these activities to the instant dopamine hits it gets from your phone, and by comparison, everything else feels like a waste of time. The neural pathways that once rewarded you for hard work, for creativity, for learning, have been weakened. The pathways that reward you for scrolling, for consuming, for clicking, have been strengthened. And the worst part is that this creates a vicious cycle. The more you rely on easy dopamine, the less motivated you feel to do anything difficult. The less motivated you feel, the more you turn to easy dopamine to escape that feeling of emptiness. And the more you escape, the weaker your brain becomes. This is not just a metaphor. This is actual neuroscience. Your brain is physically changing in response to your behavior. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine you sit down to write something important, maybe an essay, maybe a business plan, maybe just a personal journal entry. You open your laptop, you stare at the blank page, and within 30 seconds, you feel the urge to check your phone. You tell yourself you will just look for 1 second, but 1 second turns into 5 minutes, 5 minutes turns into 30 minutes. And by the time you finally put your phone down, you have completely lost focus. The task that you were trying to accomplish now feels even more overwhelming. So you pick up your phone again. Now compare this to another scenario. Imagine you're going to go to the gym, but instead, you decide to watch YouTube for a few hours. The gym requires effort, discomfort, delayed gratification. YouTube requires nothing. Your brain knows this. Your brain has learned that YouTube is easier, faster, and more immediately rewarding. So even though you know that going to the gym would make you feel better in the long run, your brain chooses the path of least resistance. This is the core problem. Your brain has been conditioned to avoid effort. It has been conditioned to seek instant gratification. And the more you reinforce this pattern, the harder it becomes to break. This is why motivation is not enough. This is why discipline is not enough. You cannot fight this pattern with willpower alone because willpower is a limited resource that gets depleted throughout the day. What you need is a complete reset of your dopamine baseline. You need to retrain your brain to find satisfaction in effort, in patience, in delayed rewards. And this is where Dopamine Detox comes in. But not the fake version you see on TikTok. The real version. The version that actually works. The version that will permanently change how your brain responds to stimulation. So let me show you exactly how to do a dopamine detox in 2026, step by step, in a way that is realistic, sustainable, and effective. Act 4. The Dopamine Detox Protocol, version 2026. The first step in doing a dopamine detox correctly is to identify your easy dopamine sources. These are the activities that give you instant gratification with no effort. For most people, this includes social media, short-form videos, video games, endless scrolling, pornography, junk food, and compulsive phone checking. You need to make a list of these activities because you cannot fix a problem if you do not know what the problem is. Write them down. Be honest with yourself. Do not try to justify them. Just acknowledge that these are the things that are hijacking your dopamine system. The second step is strategic reduction, not complete elimination. This is where most people fail. They try to go from consuming 8 hours of content per day to 0 hours of content per day, and they crash within 48 hours. This is not sustainable. Instead, you need to gradually reduce your exposure to these easy dopamine sources. Start by creating specific time blocks where you do not engage with any of them. For example, no phone for the first hour after you wake up. No social media after 8 p.m. No YouTube while you eat. These are simple rules, but they force your brain to experience boredom. And boredom is where the magic happens. When you remove easy dopamine, your brain will resist. It will tell you that you are missing out. It will tell you that you need to check your phone. It will create anxiety, restlessness, and discomfort. This is normal. This is your brain going through withdrawal. But if you can sit with this discomfort without reaching for your phone, you are teaching your brain a new pattern. You are teaching it that boredom is not an emergency. You are teaching it that discomfort is temporary. And over time, your brain will stop seeking instant gratification as aggressively. The third step is to reintroduce earned dopamine. This is the dopamine that comes from effort, from achievement, from progress. You need to replace the easy dopamine with activities that require focus, patience, and discipline. This could be working out, reading, writing, learning a new skill, building a business, having deep conversations, creating something meaningful. These activities do not give you instant rewards, but they give you something much more valuable. They give you self-respect. They give you confidence. They give you a sense of purpose. And here is the key. You need to do these activities consistently, even when you do not feel like it. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes. What you need is a system. You need rituals. You need to create a daily structure where these high-effort, high-reward activities are non-negotiable. For example, every morning at 7 a.m., you go to the gym. Every evening at 6 p.m., you read for 30 minutes. Every weekend, you work on your side project. These become automatic. They become part of your identity. And the more you do them, the more your brain starts to associate dopamine with effort instead of escapism. This is where most people fail. They try to fight habits consciously. If you want discipline to run on autopilot, the subconscious millionaire system below helps reprogram behavior at the subconscious level. Because here is the truth, you cannot rely on conscious effort forever. At some point, you will have a bad day. You will feel tired. You will feel stressed. And if your discipline is based entirely on willpower, you will break. But if your discipline is based on subconscious programming, if it is based on automatic habits that run in the background of your mind, then you do not need to think about it. You just do it. The fourth step is to create rituals that anchor your new behavior. Rituals are powerful because they remove decision fatigue. If you have to decide every single day whether or not you're going to work out, you will eventually choose not to. But if working out is a ritual, if it happens at the same time, in the same place, with the same routine, then your brain does not even question it. It just does it. This is how you make discipline effortless. This is how you make focus automatic. This is how you stop relying on motivation and start relying on systems. But even with all of this, most people still fail. And there's a specific reason why. Act 5. Why 90% of people fail. 90% of people who try dopamine detox fail because they're relying on willpower. They think that if they just try hard enough, if they just resist temptation long enough, they will eventually break free from their bad habits. But willpower is a finite resource. It gets depleted throughout the day. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every moment of discomfort you endure, all of these drain your willpower. And by the end of the day, you have nothing left. This is why you can be disciplined in the morning, but completely collapse by the evening. This is why you can resist your phone for a few hours, but eventually give in. Willpower is not a sustainable strategy. The second reason people fail is that they do not change their identity. They try to change their behavior without changing how they see themselves. They still identify as someone who is addicted to their phone, someone who lacks discipline, someone who cannot focus. And as long as you hold on to this identity, you will always revert back to your old patterns. Your behavior is a reflection of your identity. If you see yourself as undisciplined, you will act undisciplined. If you see yourself as someone who is controlled by distractions, you will be controlled by distractions. The only way to permanently change your behavior is to change who you believe you are at a fundamental level. The third reason people fail is that they underestimate the power of the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind controls 95% of your behavior. It controls your habits, your reactions, your impulses, your automatic decisions. It is the part of your mind that operates below conscious awareness, and it is far more powerful than your conscious willpower. This is why you can consciously decide to stop checking your phone, but your hand still reaches for it without thinking. This is why you can consciously decide to focus on your work, but your mind still wanders. Your subconscious mind has been programmed by years of repetition, and it will continue to run those programs unless you actively reprogram it. And this is the part that nobody talks about. Dopamine detox is not just about removing distractions. It is about reprogramming your subconscious mind. It is about installing new patterns, new beliefs, new automatic responses. And if you do not address this deeper level, you will fail. You will go through the motions of dopamine detox. You will feel good for a few days, and then you will fall right back into your old habits. Act 6, the real solution, the subconscious. The subconscious mind is the real operating system of your brain. It is the part of your mind that controls your habits, your discipline, and your ability to stay focused. And if you do not reprogram it, you will always struggle. You will always feel like you are fighting against yourself. You will always feel like discipline is hard, like focus is exhausting, like motivation is fleeting. But it does not have to be this way. When you reprogram your subconscious mind, discipline becomes automatic. Focus becomes effortless. You stop relying on willpower because your behavior is no longer controlled by conscious effort. It is controlled by deeply ingrained patterns that run automatically in the background. This is how elite performers operate. This is how successful people maintain consistency. They do not rely on motivation. They rely on systems. They rely on subconscious programming. Dopamine detox without subconscious reprogramming is just a temporary reset. You might feel better for a few days, but you will eventually fall back into your old patterns. Why? Because your subconscious mind has not changed. Your automatic responses have not changed. Your identity has not changed. But when you combine dopamine detox with subconscious reprogramming, you create permanent change. You install new habits. You build a new identity. You become someone who does not need to fight against distractions because distractions no longer control you. This is the real lever. This is the difference between people who succeed and people who fail. And this is why I recommend the Subconscious Millionaire System. It is specifically designed to reprogram your subconscious mind so that discipline, focus, and productivity become automatic. You do not have to force yourself. You do not have to rely on willpower. You just become the kind of person who naturally does the right things. So let me recap everything we have covered. In 2026, you are living in the most overstimulated environment in human history. Your dopamine system is being hijacked by technology, by algorithms, by endless content. Dopamine detox is not about punishing yourself. It is not about eliminating pleasure. It is about resetting your brain so that you can experience satisfaction from meaningful activities again. You need to identify your easy dopamine sources, strategically reduce them, reintroduce earned dopamine, and create rituals that make discipline automatic. But most importantly, you need to reprogram your subconscious mind. You need to change the automatic patterns that control your behavior. And if you do not do this, you will fail. You will fall back into your old habits. You will feel frustrated, unmotivated, and stuck. If you are serious about regaining focus, discipline, and control in 2026, do not rely on motivation. Start with the subconscious. The Subconscious Millionaire System is linked below.